June 11, 1962, three men vanish from the world's most secure prison. Guards find dummy heads in their beds, but the men are already gone. The FBI will search for decades and never find a body. But the question remains, did they survive, or did the bay swallow them whole? This is the complete story of the Alcatraz escape, the planning, the break, and the mystery. Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, The Rock, America's most feared prison. Opened in 1934 to hold America's most dangerous criminals, Al Capone, Machine Gun Kelly. Surrounded by freezing water with currents so strong, swimming to shore was considered impossible. In 29 years, 36 men tried to escape. All were caught or killed. Until three men decided the impossible could be done. Frank Morris, IQ 133, criminal mastermind, escaped from every prison before Alcatraz. The Anglin brothers, John and Clarence, bank robbers who'd been inseparable since childhood. And Allen West, the inside man who knew the prison's weaknesses. December 1961, Frank Morris notices something. The concrete around the air vents is crumbling. The prison is old, neglected. The salt air has eaten away at the walls. Morris recruits the Anglin brothers, and West, the plan begins. They need tools, spoons stolen from the cafeteria, sharpened into chisels. A drill motor salvaged from a vacuum cleaner, makeshift but effective. Every night after lights out, they dig, one scrape at a time. The sound is covered by prison noise, but one mistake means discovery. They hide the holes behind fake grates made from cardboard and paint. Guards walk past every day and see nothing. Month by month, the holes grow larger. Soon they're big enough to crawl through. Behind the walls lies a utility corridor, unsecured, unguarded, forgotten. It leads to the roof, and from the roof, to freedom. But they need one more thing, a distraction. They create dummy heads from papier-mâché, soap, and real human hair stolen from the barbershop. The heads are crude, but in darkness, from 6 feet away, they look real enough. They steal raincoats from the prison workshop, 60 of them. Using heat from steam pipes, they vulcanize the rubber into a makeshift life raft. They build wooden paddles from scrap lumber and seal every seam with stolen contact cement. By May 1962, everything is ready. Months of preparation compressed into a single night. June 11, 1962, 9:30 p.m., lights out at Alcatraz. The guards make their rounds. Flashlights briefly illuminate each cell. They see nothing unusual, just prisoners sleeping in their beds. But behind the fake grates, the cells are already empty. The escape has begun. Frank Morris moves first, squeezing through the hole behind his fake grate. The utility corridor is pitch black. He navigates by touch and memory. John Anglin follows, then Clarence. Three men moving through the prison's hidden arteries. Allen West is supposed to be right behind them, but his grate won't budge. He pulls harder. The concrete around his vent hardened while he waited. The others are already gone. West has to choose. Keep trying or give up. Meanwhile, Morris and the Anglins reach the ventilation shaft leading to the roof. 30 feet of rusted ladder. If one rung breaks, the fall would alert every guard. Morris climbs first, each step deliberate, testing every rung. A rung bends under his weight, but holds. The Anglin brothers follow, all three standing on Alcatraz roof for the first time. Below them, searchlights sweep the yard. Above them, freedom. They retrieve the hidden raft and paddles from a roof access shaft. The north shore is 50 yards away, but first, they have to climb down. Using drainage pipes as handholds, they descend the outer wall. One by one, they reach the rocky shore at the base of the prison. They inflate the raft using crude bellows made from a concertina. The water is 48 degrees. Hypothermia can kill in 30 minutes. They drag the raft to the water's edge and climb in. 11:45 p.m., they push off into the darkness of San Francisco Bay. The current immediately grabs them, pulling them toward the Golden Gate and the open ocean. They paddle with everything they have, wooden paddles bending under the force. The bay is pitch black. They navigate by the lights of San Francisco. Waves crash over the sides. The raft takes on water. Their makeshift life vests keep them afloat, barely. One paddle snaps. Now they have only two. The cold is worse than the current. Their muscles are seizing up. They've been in the water for an hour. Shore is still nowhere in sight. Back at Alcatraz, Alan West finally breaks through his vent. He follows their route to the roof, but he's hours behind. From the roof, he sees the bay, empty. They're gone. West makes a decision. He climbs back down and returns to his cell. He'll be the only witness to what they planned, and the only one who can tell the FBI everything. Out on the bay, the three men in the raft are disappearing into the night. And then, nothing. The bay swallows them whole. 6 a.m., June 12th. The morning head count begins. The guard reaches cell B, 150, counts the figure in the bed. But something feels wrong. The prisoner hasn't moved. He rattles the bars. "Morris, wake up." No response. He unlocks the cell and pulls back the blanket. The alarm sounds, a sound Alcatraz has never heard before. Successful escape. Within minutes, every guard is searching cells, corridors, workshops. They find the fake grates, the holes in the walls, the utility corridor. On the roof, they find the abandoned raft materials. West confesses everything. 7:15 a.m., the FBI is notified. The largest manhunt in Bureau history begins. Coast Guard boats race to the bay, scanning for bodies, wreckage, any sign. They find nothing. No bodies, no raft, no trace. FBI Special Agent Frank Morris arrives. No relation to the escapee. He examines the cells, measuring the holes, testing the fake grates. This took months, he realizes. This was brilliant. West is interrogated for hours. He tells them everything. The plan, the route, the raft. He draws diagrams, explains the construction, reveals their destination, Angel Island. FBI teams descend on Angel Island, searching every inch of shoreline. They find footprints, but they lead nowhere. A paddle washes ashore 2 weeks later, one of theirs. Then personal effects, a wallet belonging to Clarence Anglin, photographs waterlogged but intact. Pieces of the raft are found scattered along the shore, torn, deflated. The FBI's conclusion, the raft failed. The men drowned in the bay. But there's a problem with that theory. No bodies ever surface. Bodies in San Francisco Bay always surface. The cold water preserves them. In the decade after the escape, over 100 bodies washed ashore. None were the escapees. The case remains open, listed as presumed drowned, but officially unsolved. But rumors begin immediately. Sightings in Brazil, Mexico, even South America. A former Alcatraz inmate claims he received a Christmas card from John Anglin, postmarked Brazil. The FBI investigates, but the lead goes nowhere. A family photo surfaces in 1975, claimed to show the Anglin brothers in Brazil. Forensic experts say it's possible, but not definitive. The Anglin family insists they're alive, and they've been sending signals. Every Christmas, 3 red roses appear on the Anglin brothers' mother's grave. No one knows who leaves them, but they appear every year without fail. And so the question remains, did they make it? Or did the bay claim 3 more victims? 3 theories emerge, each supported by evidence, none proven conclusive. Theory 1. They drowned. The cold water and currents were simply too strong. Supporting evidence, torn raft pieces, personal effects washing ashore, hypothermia timeline. FBI expert testimony. The bay temperature that night was 47 degrees, survival time, 30 minutes maximum. Coast Guard analysis. The current that night would have pulled them toward the Golden Gate and the open ocean. But Theory 1 has a fatal flaw. Where are the bodies? Theory 2. They survived and disappeared, living new lives under assumed identities. Supporting evidence. The Christmas card, the family photo, the roses on the grave. Family testimony. We received birthday cards with codes, messages only we would understand. A former FBI agent. If they had help on the outside, survival was absolutely possible. Theory 3. They had inside help, someone waiting on shore with a boat. Witness reports. A fisherman claims he saw a boat near Angel Island that night. It quickly disappeared. But no accomplice ever came forward, and no one was ever charged. 2013, 51 years after the escape, a letter arrives at the San Francisco Police Department. It reads, "My name is John Anglin. I escaped from Alcatraz in June 1962 with my brother Clarence and Frank Morris. I am 83 years old. I have cancer. Frank died in 2008. Clarence died in 2011. I want to make a deal. I'm sick and just want to go to a doctor. The FBI analyzes the letter, handwriting, DNA, everything. Their conclusion? Inconclusive. It could be him, or an elaborate hoax. No one comes forward to claim the deal. The letter writer vanishes into silence. Art Roderick, U.S. Marshal who investigated the case. They drowned. That's my belief. The evidence is clear. Torn raft, cold water, no bodies because they were swept to sea. But the Anglin family disagrees. We know they made it. We have proof. They produce a photograph claimed to be from 1975, John and Clarence in Brazil. Forensic analysis in 2015. Facial recognition suggests it could be them, but cannot confirm. Researchers discover something else. Alcatraz tides that night were unusual. For a brief window, between 11:30 p.m. and midnight, the current actually flowed toward Angel Island. The Dutch research team conclusion: they could have made it if everything went perfectly. But everything going perfectly from a makeshift raft in 48-degree water seems impossible. Mythbusters attempted the escape in 2003. They made it to shore, barely. But they had modern materials, life jackets, and backup boats waiting. The actual escape had none of that, just 3 desperate men and a prayer. So what's the truth? Did they drown in the bay or disappear into freedom? The FBI officially closed the case in 1979, but reopened it in 2013 after the letter. It remains open today, waiting for that one piece of evidence that ends the mystery. Until then, Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers remain somewhere between myth and reality. The Alcatraz escape changed America's prison system forever. Within a year, Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy ordered Alcatraz permanently closed. March 21, 1963, the last prisoners leave Alcatraz. The rock is silent. The escape proved what the Bureau had denied. Alcatraz was not escape-proof. 3 men with spoons and determination had accomplished the impossible. But their story became something more, a symbol of human persistence against impossible odds. Clint Eastwood's 1979 film, Escape from Alcatraz, immortalized the story for millions. Today, over 1 million tourists visit Alcatraz each year. Most ask about the escape. The dummy heads are still there, preserved behind glass, testament to ingenuity. Cell B-150, Frank Morris's cell, is the most photographed spot on the island. Guards who worked that night still give interviews, still ask the same question: how didn't we know? We followed every procedure, one guard insists. They were just smarter than the system. Alan West, the one who didn't make it, died in 1978. He never stopped talking about that night. If I'd gotten through that vent 5 minutes earlier, he said, I'd be free right now. The Anglin family holds an annual gathering, waiting for their brothers to come home. Every year, the chairs remain empty, but the family keeps them ready. They're out there somewhere, the youngest brother says, living the life they fought for. But time is running out. If they survived, they'd be in their 90s now. The window for answers is closing. With every year that passes, the truth slips further away. So what does the escape really mean? 3 criminals who beat the system? Or 3 men who refuse to accept their fate? Perhaps it's both, and that's why the story endures. It reminds us that even the most secure systems have weaknesses, and human will can exploit them. It proves that with enough planning, enough patience, the impossible becomes possible. And it asks a question that America has debated for 60 years. Do we hope they made it? They were criminals, bank robbers who hurt people and broke laws. But there's something in the human spirit that roots for escape, for freedom against all odds. Maybe that's why we're still fascinated, because they did what we only dream about. They escaped not just Alcatraz, but the limitations everyone told them were absolute. June 11th, 1962 was the last time anyone saw Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers alive. Everything after that is speculation, rumor, hope, and mystery. The truth is somewhere in San Francisco Bay, buried in water, or hidden in plain sight. 63 years later, we're no closer to an answer than we were the morning they discovered the dummy heads. They give us something to wonder about, to debate, to dream about. They prove that not every story has an ending, and sometimes that's the best ending of all. Frank Morris, John Anglin, Clarence Anglin, Somewhere between history and legend, they remain free.